The fear of rejection is real, but the need to share my thoughts outweighs it. Sometimes it's about finding someone who will listen with an open heart without judgment. There's a part of me that is screaming to be heard, and no matter how hard I try to silence it, I know I can't keep this to myself forever. What happens when you've held something in for too long? The pressure builds until you can't contain it anymore. That's when the need to share becomes urgent, almost impossible to ignore. I've been holding on to pieces of myself for so long, afraid to let them go. But now I can't help but feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of it all. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is share what's inside. The fear of being misunderstood or judged makes us hold back, but eventually the need to be heard grows stronger than the fear. There are thoughts that become so tangled in your mind, you wonder if anyone could ever truly understand. But the urgency to share them is something you can't deny forever. I can feel it building inside of me like a storm that's about to break. There's something I need to share, something I can't keep inside much longer. The more I try to ignore my thoughts, the more they grow. It's like they're demanding to be shared, and I know I can't keep pretending they don't matter. I've always been good at hiding my feelings, but there are times when the weight of them is too much to carry alone. I need to find someone who will listen, who will hear me without judgment. The hardest part is finding the courage to speak, to share what's been building inside. But when the urgency of your emotions reaches its peak, speaking becomes the only option. I've been hiding from my own feelings for so long that it's become a habit. But now they're too loud to ignore, too urgent to stay hidden. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is sharing your innermost thoughts, even when you're not sure how they'll be received. But it's necessary for peace and understanding. I keep trying to quiet the noise in my mind, but it's impossible. It's time to let the thoughts out, to share what's been building for too long. It's like I'm standing at the edge of something I've been too afraid to step into. But the urge to speak, to share my thoughts, is too powerful to ignore. Every day, I carry these thoughts with me, heavy and unspoken. The time has come to share them, to let go of the fear and trust that someone will understand. I wish I didn't have to be so guarded, but the truth is, I've been carrying so much inside. I need to share it before it overwhelms me. There are moments when silence becomes unbearable, when the weight of unspoken thoughts presses so hard against your chest that you know you have no choice but to speak. The more I hold these thoughts in, the more they take up space in my mind. I need to share them, even if it's just one person who will truly listen. I've been avoiding the truth for so long, but now I can't ignore it anymore. There's something I need to share, and the urgency of it is almost overwhelming. When you carry thoughts that no one knows about, it's easy to feel isolated. But the more you try to keep them inside, the stronger the need to share them becomes. I've spent so long building walls around my emotions, but they've started to crumble. Now, all I can think about is the need to share what I've been hiding. There's a voice inside me begging to be heard, but I've been too afraid to listen. The time has come for me to speak up, to share what's been hidden for far too long. I used to think that keeping things to myself was easier, but now I realize that the only way to find peace is to share the thoughts that have been weighing on me. I can feel the pressure building, the overwhelming urge to share what I've been hiding. It's no longer something I can keep to myself. There's a part of me that wants to scream, to let it all out, but the fear of being vulnerable holds me back. Still, the need to share is growing stronger by the day. It's hard to admit that I need to share something so personal, but I know it's the only way to ease the weight of it. My thoughts are demanding to be heard. I've kept so many things buried deep inside, but the truth is, it's becoming harder to keep them there. It's time to share what I've been holding on to. The fear of sharing something so personal is real, but the need to be understood is greater. I can't keep holding these thoughts in forever. There's a part of me that longs to be seen, to be heard, to share what's been growing inside. But the fear of judgment makes me hesitate. I keep wondering when the right moment will come to speak. But deep down, I know that waiting for the perfect time only makes it harder to open up. The thoughts in my mind are too big to stay inside, and the longer I keep them locked away, the heavier they become. There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words, when you feel the weight of your own thoughts pressing against your chest, urging you to share something that has been locked away in your heart for too long. Sometimes you can't quite find the words to explain what's going on inside. The swirling emotions, the turmoil, and the aching need to be heard in a way that only someone who truly understands can. I can't keep pretending everything's fine when the truth is my heart is heavy with thoughts that I need to share, but I'm too scared to let them out. There's a place inside me where words are born, but sometimes even there, they can't find the right shape to escape. And in that moment, I know I need someone to listen, someone to understand. My mind races in 1,000 directions, pulling me into a storm of feelings, each thought more urgent than the last, begging to be shared with someone who can hold the weight of it all. I wish I could express everything I'm feeling, but it's like my words are locked away in a vault. The emotions are there, but I can't seem to release them. There's an unspoken urgency in my thoughts, a whisper in my soul telling me that I need to share this before it consumes me, before it becomes more than I can carry alone. In moments of deep reflection, I realize that I've been holding back pieces of myself, secrets and truths that need to be heard but feel too vulnerable to release. Sometimes the most important things we need to share are the ones that frighten us the most, but the fear of sharing them is nothing compared to the fear of carrying them alone. My thoughts feel like they're pressing against my mind, and all I can think about is finding someone I trust enough to finally let them out. There's something urgent inside of me, a need to be understood, a need to reveal the parts of myself that I've kept hidden for too long. It's more than just a desire. It's a necessity. I've been carrying these thoughts around, afraid that if I speak them aloud, I'll lose control. But I know deep down that I need to share them with someone who will listen, not judge. It's strange how sometimes our minds become cluttered with things we don't know how to say, but the urge to share those thoughts becomes more pressing with each passing day. I can't shake the feeling that I'm holding on to something too heavy for me to bear alone. My heart feels like it's carrying a weight that needs to be shared, even if it's just one person who can understand. The deepest emotions are the ones we often keep hidden, afraid to burden anyone with them. But I've come to realize that keeping them locked inside only makes them harder to carry. It feels like I'm on the edge of something important, something that needs to be shared, but I'm not sure how to take that first step. The urgency to speak is overwhelming, yet terrifying. The more I keep these thoughts inside, the more they begin to shape who I am. I need to speak, to be heard, to share what's been building inside of me for so long. Sometimes the most important conversations are the ones we avoid, the ones we are too scared to have. But the need to share, to be understood, eventually outweighs the fear. The silence in my heart grows louder with every passing second, urging me to speak. I need to share what's been weighing me down, to set it free before it takes over completely. I've been living in a world of unspoken words, where my thoughts are tangled in knots, and the only way to untangle them is by sharing them with someone who truly listens. It's funny how we can feel so much and yet be so unsure of how to express it. I need to share what's inside, but the right moment always feels out of reach. There are times when the weight of your own thoughts becomes too much to carry. You need someone to share it with, someone who won't just hear your words, but understand the emotions behind them. I keep asking myself, why do I wait? But the truth is, it's because I fear what will happen when I let these feelings out. Still, the urgency to share them grows stronger each day. I feel like I'm carrying a burden that no one knows about. I need to release it, share it, before it becomes something I can't control anymore. There are moments when words escape you, but the urgency to speak is undeniable. It's like a pressure that builds until it's almost unbearable. I wish I could just let everything out, but fear holds me back. Every time I try to speak, the words get stuck. But the urge to share, to unload these feelings, is growing stronger. I've kept so many things inside, trying to protect myself from vulnerability. But the truth is, I need to share them, not just for my own peace of mind, but because someone else might need to hear them.